The Orlando Magic just made a sneaky good signing by getting Orlando Robinson on a two-way contract. We're going to be talking about the impact that he could potentially make on this basketball team next year and what is going on with the centers that is currently on the roster. We know Mo Wagner is safe and set, but what about the other three centers that we have? How is Jamahl Mosley going to be able to juggle those guys? We're going to be talking about that too in today's video. But first, guys, welcome to Magic Digest. I'm your host, Patrick Previty. This is your one-stop shop for Orlando Magic basketball content here on YouTube. Now, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you do. It's the easiest and best way to support us here at Magic Digest. And we're trying to build an Orlando Magic basketball community, which I think we have done here on YouTube. The goal is to get to 2,000 subscribers before the start of the year, so let's keep it pushing. Thank you guys so much for the support, and also make sure that if you want to see more content on the NBA from myself, that you subscribe also to the Big Little Podcast. It's linked down below. Okay, Orlando Robinson played for a couple teams last year, the Sacramento Kings and the Toronto Raptors. 6.9 points per game, 5 rebounds. He had 44 games played last season, and he was waived by the Kings in January. The Raptors signed him on consecutive 10 days before converting his two-way deal into a standard contract in February, and he had some nice moments during his time there. His archetype is more of that shot-blocking kind of big, but we didn't really see that type of production from him last season. As you can tell, that these numbers are from both his time with the Kings and the Raptors, and we're only seeing 0.4 blocks per game. But that was kind of what he was when he was at Fresno State. But let me get into exactly how his time went with the Raptors. He had some good moments. He secured 4 double-doubles in 35 games, and he made 8 starts for them. Now, obviously, they were on that tank campaign, if you will, for Cooper Flagg. Did not pan out for them, but he was one of those guys playing. Now, you take March basketball with a grain of salt, but that is there, and that production is very positive. He averaged 8.1 points and 5.9 rebounds for them. He dropped a career-high 25 against Philadelphia in March, and he started his career with the Miami Heat, as you obviously see with the picture. He's played a total of 111 NBA games, so he's got some experience there, and we have guys with plenty of experience. Wendell Carter Jr., Batadze, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Wagner. Those guys have played a lot of basketball games in their career, but if one of them gets injured, we have seen this in the past. We could potentially see Orlando Robinson get some play time, and maybe Jamahl Mosley could find a place or a spot for him. Now, when he was during his span in Toronto, he shot 44.7% from the field, 34% from the arc, which is probably the biggest question that anybody might have for his game. And obviously, he's an undrafted guy. He stands at just over 7 feet tall. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. Kind of feels like the perfect plug-and-play guy who can, on any given night, do one of those things that he's really good at well, and that's a positive, especially for a guy that's on a two-way contract. Whether or not that is using that 7'4" wingspan, guarding the rim, guarding the paint, or stepping out to the three and actually being a player that the defense ends up coming out and creating space inadvertently for a guy like Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner. Those seem like very positive things that he could potentially bring. Now, when we look at the rest of this roster and we look at how he potentially compares to some of the other guys, obviously we're thinking Wendell Carter Jr. is probably going to start at the 5 for this team next year. He had 9.1 points per game, 7.2 rebounds. Not too far ahead of what Orlando Robinson was able to do last year for the Raptors specifically. But we know that Wendell Carter Jr., we know who he is, we know what he brings, and we kind of also know some of his shortcomings as well. The 23% from the 3 is the biggest shortcoming of them all, and also he fits more at the 4 position. He seems more comfortable there than at the 5, but obviously this team runs with a set that has Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner probably at the 3 and the 4 at any given point, so you just slide Wendell Carter Jr. down to the 5. If you had asked me last year if he was going to be traded, I would have said definitely by this point. Seems like that is not going to be the case, which is completely fine. Maybe this is a move at the deadline that we could potentially see. Now, the next guy up, Mo Wagner, he's got this no-trade clause now. He's going to be ready at some point in the early part of this year, but he's not going to be ready, I don't think, at the very start of the season. But I know that they're trying to trend him to, get out there whenever he's ready, but, sooner rather than later. Because obviously he suffered that injury at like the first half of the season last year. So or maybe right around the middle. But 12.9 points, 4.9 rebounds. This guy was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate, a good scorer off the bench, probably our best scorer off the bench last year. Might not be the case this upcoming year, but he definitely was our best front court scorer just outright last year, and most reliable. He's not just Franz Wagner's brother. He is a very talented player and a piece for this team as they try to make their Eastern Conference Finals run next year. Now, Jonathan Isaac, a player who has been marred by injuries. Again, probably same boat as Wendell Carter Jr. We know some of his shortcomings as far as the three-point shot is concerned, and we know that he's been in trade talks for a long time. Probably the most likely to be traded just because of his descending salary on his contract, and some of the language is definitely team-friendly because they're trying to hedge their bets against his injuries. But definitely been the minister of defense for the Magic, a positive culture kind of guy that we've kept, and giving away Cole Anthony and Jonathan Isaac in the same offseason is definitely really tough for any team to give up those guys, or like long-term guys for their team trying to build for the future. It's kind of a difficult process, but it may have to be done. We might see Jonathan Isaac end up going. But I don't know if I'm going to make any sort of predictions right now. I made a ton of videos on Wendell Carter Jr. and Jonathan Isaac in them themselves. I think I'm going to have to wait to see some more concrete evidence that another team is very interested. Both of those guys definitely look like they could potentially be trade deadline pieces. Magic are doing good. They find a weakness in their team at some point during the year. They want to trade Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, who aren't as net positives as maybe we would like at that point. Have some good contracts that teams can take on without risking a ton, and then on the back end for them, and then we get a player in return that could potentially shore up something that we have wrong specifically with our roster. I see that more so with both of those guys. I think that they're both going to be on the opening day roster, if you will. Now, Goga Bitadze, obviously, we're looking at Goga and we're thinking, gosh, he put in so much good basketball for this team at the first part of last year, but then was phased out of the rotation last year. I'm very interested to see how Jamahl Mosley could potentially juggle Orlando Robinson and Goga Bitadze. Obviously, Robinson is on this two-way contract, so he's not going to get the first dibs on coming off the bench or being the third or fourth center on this team. But as the season goes on, could we potentially see a switch, especially if they end up dealing Bitadze? Is Bitadze now in more of danger of potentially getting dealt before the season with the addition of Orlando Robinson? No, I would still say definitely no, because Orlando Robinson's a two-way guy. And while we saw the two-way guys like Trevelin Queen make a start, play some when this team was decimated with injuries last year in December, it's still not enough, or not reliable enough for me to say that this is definitely going to mean that Goga Bitadze has lost his job or anything like that. Not that far away for sure, but we have seen some of these guys make some serious impacts for this Orlando Magic team. This guy's undrafted out of Fresno State, got a chip on his shoulder, has kind of bounced around a little bit here, but has improved every single year that he's been in the NBA for the last handful of years, and that is something that's really positive. I think it's a good signing. I like it. Obviously, this team is going to have to continue to invest in these two-way guys, and we'll see how much they play. It's up and down. Mac McClung didn't play any for this squad last year, and I know a lot of us were clamoring to see exactly what he can bring when this team had all of their guards out with injury. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below, and definitely do not forget to subscribe to the Big Little Podcast. That is also in the description if you'd like to see more of my content. And as always, I'll see you guys next time with more Orlando Magic basketball content.